What up? I'm Shep Papelka. This is the Braves TomaBlog, the YouTube channel. I talk about mostly the Braves, the baseball in general. But today I want to talk about the Washington Nationals. They've been on my mind recently. They've been coming through the news cycle a good bit. They recently signed Matt Wieters to a 2-year contract for around $21 million. Today, a rumor came through that they're considering signing Angel Pagan to give them some outfield depth. Now, that's not a terrible move, nor is Matt Wieters. It is questionable. Because Matt Wieters is not a very trustworthy catcher, and the team already had catchers. But the team was willing to go for it, willing to add another catcher. And I had some questions coming earlier before Matt Wieters was signed from subscribers asking, why don't the Braves do it? And I said, I don't know. It wouldn't be a bad thought. Just looking around the cost of catchers, I said, if Matt Wieters is willing to sign during spring training for 2 years, $15 million, you do it. You get a switch hitting catcher, and then you trade him to a team that wants one a little bit more. As far as the Nationals, I said 2 years, $15 million. I didn't think 2 years, $21 million seems a bit much to me. Again, not a bad signing, especially if the team wins a lot of games. It is a little bit questionable. But it brings up the question to me. Not this signing, but just in general, because it's been on my head. Are the Washington Nationals acting irrational? Is the Washington Nationals front office acting out of character? Or have they been recently? Because, first of all, first thing I got to clear up, Mike Rizzo is good GM. That's not up for debate. That's not something I ever want to see in the comments or anything like that. No one needs to call Mike Rizzo a bad GM. That's simply not true. Mike Rizzo is the guy that turned the Washington Nationals around from the last place team in 2008 and 2009 into the perennial contender that they are now that's made the playoffs 3 times in the last 5 years. Now, let me go through just, to clear this up first about some of the things that Mike Rizzo has done, because they're actually astounding about some of the great moves that a GM can make. First of all, first-round picks he's made include Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg, Anthony Rendon, and Lucas Giolito. That's a great cast of first-round picks that he's made. He signed Jason Worth at the absolute best time to make a big-time splash on the free agent market, which was right before they were going to get really good. They signed a guy that they said, we're going to make you our franchise player. Couldn't have worked out better. They acquired Gio Gonzalez right at the cusp of becoming division winners. And you know what? He signed Gio Gonzalez. That team became the best pitching staff in the National League that year. It couldn't have worked out better. This is a guy that traded Steven Souza and got Trey Turner and Joe Ross in return. It was a 3-way trade. It was very complicated, and everyone got a little confused in it. I should say that the Nationals won. Are you kidding? I mean, they gave up a little bit more than Souza, but it was nothing major, and they get Trey Turner and Joe Ross, 2 players, one of which looks like a franchise player. They signed a free agent that went on to win the Cy Young Award. Say what you will about the cost of that free agent, that's a good move. That's a guy who you signed, no matter how much you paid him last year, totally worth it, wins the Cy Young. And then they signed Daniel Murphy at 3 years, $37 million, who turns into an MVP candidate, who hit 50 points above what his average was the year before. He hit 11 more home runs, and he hit over 30 more RBIs. That's one of the biggest steals we've ever seen on free agency. That's just me clearing up. Mike Rizzo is a good GM. That's not up for debate. But, like every GM, he has some bad moves. And it's some questionable moves. Now, again, a lot of GMs do, but with Rizzo, it's a little different. First of all, I want to point out, traded for Nyjer Morgan in the middle of the year, especially one in which they weren't winning. That would result in Nyjer Morgan getting into an episodic brawl. I don't even remember the result of that. I remember that he was bad in the clubhouse. I think they let him go. He shut down Steven Strasburg in the middle of a pennant chase. The team would lose in the first round of the postseason without Strasburg throwing a pitch in Game 5. The Nationals have had 4 managers since 2010. You remember Davey Johnson? You remember Jim Riggleman? Those were managers of the Nationals recently. Traded for Jonathan Papelbon. I wrote that as one, and then another I wrote failed to trade Jonathan Papelbon. They traded for Jonathan Papelbon, and they actually gave up a little bit for him. He then got into a fight with Bryce Harper that Bryce Harper was clearly right and then they couldn't find a way to trade him because no one wanted him. He was damaged goods after that. They signed Steven Strasburg, who was a very good pitcher when he's healthy, to a 7-year, $175 million contract. Again, very good pitcher. He's going to be there through his age 35 season, and he's pretty injury prone. Some other mistakes. I wrote publicly pursuing Aroldis Chapman, Kenley Jansen, Chris Sale, Jason Hayward, and Yoenis Cespedes, and failing to acquire any of them. And there are other players that they've tried as well. What that has done is, one, it's revealed to opposing agents how much money the Nationals actually have to work with. So when Scott Boras is negotiating for Matt Wieters, he can tell them, I know you offered more money to Jason Hayward last year. I know you have the money. I'm going to need that money for my client to sign. They've also revealed to other GMs what they're willing to part with. In the negotiations for Chris Sale, they told them, hey, we're willing to part with Giolito and Lopez and all these guys. We're not willing to part with Turner, so it's going to have to be a no. Well, then when they went back to them for the same player, they said, well, we were already willing to give these guys up. And the Nationals said, fine. And they gave those players up. Speaking of which, separate move, trading for Adam Eaton. And in trading for Adam Eaton, you gave up Lucas Giolito, Reynaldo Lopez, and Dane Dunning. Just a clumsy trade is what it came off to me as. Adam Eaton is a solid player, but it could never be worth the guys that you gave up unless they all bust, which I just think is unlikely. After that, you traded Danny Espinosa for speaking out. I don't agree with that, or I don't disagree with that. I don't think that that's crazy that Danny Espinosa says, I don't want to come to your team meeting after you made that stupid trade. That's none of his business. That's not his job. But I think it's weird. Why is Danny Espinosa caring about prospects? Why is Danny Espinosa saying, I don't want to play for a team that doesn't care about the future of the organization like that? That's weird. Why is your second baseman caring about that? He's not going to be here. You are. I think it's concern. I think it's cause for concern that your second baseman is the one pointing out that you made flawed decisions. And then you send him to the Angels, which, yeah, that sucks for him. And then signing for Matt Wieters. Look, I don't think it's a bad move. I think it's a questionable move. I think it's one that you might have overpaid for. You did it, and now you kind of got a cluster of catchers. Jose Lopez is a solid catcher. He's going to be a third string now, I guess. What I've illustrated, what this is to me, it's a quality GM that makes weird and questionable and sometimes boneheaded decisions. Why? Why does a smart and quality GM do this? Desperation. It's all desperation that they're doing this. Why are they so desperate? It's because they're an epitome. They're the epitome of a team with a window to win, a small window to win. Because they're terrified. They're horrified that in 2 years, Bryce Harper is going to hit free agency and Daniel Murphy is going to hit free agency with him. Two of their best players are going to hit free agency at the same time. And they're terrified. They've subtracted the team to say that 2017 through 2019, we need to win a championship because we failed to from 2012 to 2016. We need to now. So this is a team that's willing to pay too much for free agents in the long term. They're willing to lock up tons of money in the future to two aging, flame-throwing pitchers. They're willing to trade their farm system away for an answer in center field because they would rather not have a farm system than have somewhat of a hole in center field going into this year. That's a desperate team, and what's weird is that they don't have to do that. They don't have to care so much about this 2017 through 2018 period that they have to win a championship in because they are a solid team in the long term. They have Trey Turner. They have Anthony Rendon. They have Tanner Roark. They had Lucas Giolito. This team was set up for a long-term run at contention, and they're not anymore. They have all their money locked up either right now or locked up in the future in old players. Ryan Zimmerman's another one. And it doesn't make sense. Look how the Cardinals approached after Albert Pujols was approaching free agency. They said, that's fine, but we're going to prepare for that. And they made it back to the NLCS the next year and then the World Series again after that with Matt Adams at first base. Because this is baseball. You don't have to act like LeBron James is hitting free agency. That first of all, he's not LeBron James. He's a very good player, but he's not LeBron James. And in baseball, there shouldn't be a LeBron James that determines your success and your failure. You want to know why Bryce Harper acts as cocky as he does? It's because the Nationals treat him like this. They treat him, like he is their whole organization when they're not. They're a good organization, but they're acting like he is, and they're willing to make very questionable decisions because of that. That's irrational. The Washington Nationals front office, to me, is acting irrational.